All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. It's hard to remember what day of the week it is. Today's Friday. So earlier this week, the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, chaired by Darrell Issa, released a report concerning the IRS and the targeting of conservatives and conservative groups. So here to respond to that is Jenny Beth Martin, president and co-founder of Tea Party Patriots. And Jenny, I want to get first your response to what the report said, and then I want to focus on how the New York Times and the Washington Post interpreted it or chose to interpret it, and what their headline said. But welcome, Merry Christmas, and what's your takeaway on that report?
Well, thank you, and Merry Christmas. And our takeaway is that it confirms what we knew all along. The IRS was targeting conservative groups, Tea Party groups, groups with the names Tea Party and Patriots in their name, and they lied and misled Congress. And so it confirms what we knew was happening all along. We are not surprised by it. And the IRS still intends to do everything they can to silence conservative groups. We got them to stop the new regulations that they had proposed earlier this year, but they're revising those regulations and are going to release them again at some point. And I'm certain that they will continue to do everything they can, even in the new regulations, to silence us. And we won't back down, and we're not going to be silenced.
How much hope does the new Congress that gets sworn in after the new year, how much hope does that give you? I mean, you already have the House with Darrell Issa. Now that you add the Senate under Republican control, does that give you hope for any kind of remedy?
It gives me more hope. What Congress needs to do is to pass laws to prevent from having the scope and the power that they have right now. We need fundamental tax reform, and we need to do something to make sure that we have the agency doing what it's supposed to do in collecting revenue, and that it is not empowered and emboldened to actually target citizens or organizations in our country. That's not its job, and it's not its role.
All right, let's talk about the headlines that people who read the New York Times, read the Washington Post, and watch the MSNBCs of the world, because they all picked up on these headlines and ran with it, CNN, et cetera, stating that they chose and led with no links to the White House. As if that was the main reason for the report. That's what the report said, and they put it to bed, and the issue is over. I mean, talk about how do you think they got that out of that, and why do you believe they chose to lead with that?
Well, they're doing what they can to protect the administration, and what we've always said at Tea Party Patriots is we'll follow the trail where it goes, and we haven't made any assumptions as to exactly how far up the targeting went. The fact of the matter is the IRS targeted conservative groups, whether they were getting direction from the administration and the president or not. They were taking cues from what they were hearing in the media and thought that it would be appropriate and okay to target groups who disagreed with the president. And that's really what was happening, is that groups like mine and in groups who are conservative were targeted because we do not agree with what the president and his administration and the Democrats are doing to our country. And that's wrong. In America, where we have the First Amendment and freedom of speech, the IRS should never do this to any organization or any individual citizen, regardless of who the president is.
It is so egregious, because if the American people can't trust the IRS to be politically neutral in their dealings with the American public, then really all hope is lost, and it becomes a weapon for the administration. If this had been a Bush administration doing it the opposite way, how big and huge a story and consistent a drumbeat would there have been from this media in this country?
I think that it would have been a very large story, and I think that the New York Times probably would be reporting the report differently than what we've heard from them now. But we know this. We understand that this is the way that it is in our country, and that's why groups in news organizations like yours are so important, because you're getting the truth out. And no matter whether it was a Republican or a Democrat president, the IRS cannot and should not target groups the way that they did the way that they did Tea Party Patriots. The IRS is the most powerful, to many citizens, the most powerful agency in the country. It can garnish your wages, it can seize your property, they can have you thrown in jail, and so it's a very, very intimidating agency. And that, with that kind of power, it must be used wisely and appropriately.
Absolutely.
And that is not what happened.
Fairly, yeah. Jenny Beth Martin, again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you. All right, next, Chairman of the Committee to Reduce Infectious Death, Dr. Betsy McCoy. Don't miss it.